Do you see yourself changing your content at all in the future? And what would you be doing if you do?
This is a good question. That was going to be the plan. I told nobody this, except there was, I think, actually, tell that there was like 2 or 3 people I told.
Before we continue on to the rest of the video, are you not subscribed to our YouTube yet? You'll get daily shorts and a video every other week. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so enjoy the crazy, funny, degenerate content, all the fails of the Froman streams. We also feature our series called Streamers Unplugged, diving into streamers' careers, their journeys, and all of their challenges. Our guests so far have been Nicro, Poofesher, Small M Mom, Estherberg64, Jacksite, Dizzy, and BURTONTTV. So hit that subscribe button and get your latest YouTube videos today, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And now back to the video. Yo, Fromies, I'm introducing our next guest, a great friend of mine in life, Mr. BURTONTTV. He has a unique career as being someone I've known that streamed more than a year straight. More than 365 days straight. Crazy. We're gonna go into that, no days off in between, to literally being like the next ZFG with all his glitches with, you know, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. He can do it all. He's crazy. He's cracked. I'm ready to get into this for sure. I'm excited for this. Really cool streaming career, really crazy community, really fun. So let's get into it. Yo, Burn, how you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it a lot. Whenever you reached out to me, first of all, I was like, you know what? I would absolutely love to be part of your podcast. So please invite me on. And I mean, after a couple of roadblocks with, you know, my own personal life that, you know, it's happened, and with illness and sickness and stuff, we're finally here.
Yes,
so
yes.
I apologize again for that, for those issues, but we're here now. That's the main thing.
Hey,
I'm excited.
I'm sick like every other week, so it's okay. I understand.
Yeah, I have a terrible immune system, to be honest. I mean, I've been out and about, and I've always done a lot of outdoor things, activities and whatnot. I do my football every Sunday, you know, and I still have the worst immune system. I just was chosen to be good at Zelda and bad with immune systems, so it's part of it's, you know, ways up. It's all good.
You know, let's start to the beginning of your career. When you first hit the go live button, like, what was that like? Like, how was that feeling? How was your first stream?
Well, so I've a wee bit of a sporadic, before the whole 1 year thing, I had a bit of a sporadic streaming sort of schedule. I just did it as a hobby while I was working and whatnot. My original first time hitting the go live button was probably just in TV before Twitch was even a thing.
Oh, wow.
So that's way back when. Yeah. I had an account on that, and I streamed on there. Again, there was I had no success, nothing like that. It was just a fun thing doing on the side, you know, broadcaster gameplay if somebody was there. Cool, if not, no worries.
Yeah, right.
Cut forward to 2014, 15. I streamed on my previous account, which I just no longer stream on anymore. I had around 1,600 followers on that account.
Oh, wow.
I just lost interest. That was sort of one of those sporadic things where I was streaming here for like, you know, a month, you know, on and off every so often, and then you know, I'd take like a 2-year break, and then I'd stream like another 3 months, you know, on and off, and then I just never wanted anything to come from it, so it was just one of those sporadic things, and you know, that just accumulated over time. And then the one time that I sat down, which was 2021, which is where the BURTONTTV account I'm currently stream on came from, I was like playing a game called Escape from Tarkov.
Oh, yeah.
Every single day. It's fantastic. Great shooter game. I highly recommend it if you're into full loot PvP. Although there's a lot of cheater problems at the minute, so I probably would avoid it right now. But it is a great game in general.
Yeah.
But with that game, I was always playing with a lot of friends on Discord, and I was streaming my gameplay to them while we were playing together. Like, we were in a game, and you know, they would have me on their top monitor while they were playing, so they could see my perspective. If I call someone out, they can see exactly where it is, etc., etc. So it was nice to play with the team, like the sort of cooperations that way. And they just said to me, "Why don't you just stream on Twitch?" So I said, "I don't have an answer to that, so why not?"
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, why not? So I said to myself, okay, well, that's what I'll do then. So I went live on Twitch in, like, I think it was January of 2021. And I said to myself, every single day I'll do a month straight, no breaks. And I got to day 28, and I just burnt completely out because I was juggling full-time work with I was doing delivery for the NHS, the National Health Service.
Oh, wow.
And I was
for
I
like
was
COVID?
up at 5:30 a.m. Yeah, during COVID, yeah. So while we were in COVID and everything was on lockdown, I think it was lockdown 2 at the time, the second lockdown we had here in Northern Ireland. When we had that lockdown, everyone was home. Nobody was allowed to leave their house, and I had to deliver medication to the people who were classed as vulnerable. Obviously, you know, as you would know yourself, you know, people who had really bad immune systems had anything that could, if they caught it, might pass from it, so they couldn't leave their house.
Right.
So I would wake up at 5:30, go to work till like, some days you'd be on 12-hour shift of just driving like 200, 300 miles a day. It was a lot of mileage.
Jeez.
Come home, stream for like 3 hours, go to bed, rinse and repeat. That was my like life for a full month. And by day 28, I just couldn't do it anymore. I went to press the go live button and I was just burned out.
Oh my god.
I just couldn't.
Yeah, like how long were your days? Like, so you said like you drove like 200 miles, but like, how long were the hours? Like, was it like 8 hours or was it like more than that?
It all depends on who we had on the run. Certain days we were allocated different locations in Northern Ireland. So there's 6 counties, and so let's say for instance on a Monday I would have County Antrim, which is where I'm based. That day could last 7 hours. And then one day we're at County Fermanagh, which is the other side of the country. That could last 12 hours because you've got an extra 2 hour commute to get to that side and then do the deliveries and then, you know, your 2 hour commute back. So you could have 12-hour days driving constantly in the van.
Yeah.
And you were by yourself.
Oh.
So you had no one to talk to.
Oh my god.
It wasn't the most social thing either, other than talking to, you know, to the clients. So, but don't get me wrong, I loved that job. I loved it. The one thing I just didn't like about it was just a dead end job. I'm always looking to expand my knowledge, career path, everything, and that was just a dead end job for me. So that's why I packed it in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, holy shit. Like, when there's like a ceiling to a job, that's kind of when it's like, okay, you know, that's kind of shitty, right? Because like, you can't break the ceiling. You're just trapped, and you just kind of get suffocated by the ceiling. It's like that ceiling in Forest Temple, you know, like that just falls down on you. It's like the same thing. You can't go past it.
That's exactly that's a good analogy. Yeah, it's exactly like that. You know, you're trapped within the boundaries of that job, and I'm always looking, as I say, to progress my own skills, my own knowledge, everything. And if I can't learn anything from it, then I feel like we're here for a limited time. Let's be honest. So I'm trying to absorb as much information as possible, and progress my life.
Yeah.
With the knowledge I gain on the way.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I mean, definitely like, learning stuff is definitely very valuable because, you know, if you ever have kids one day, you gotta pass that on to them, right? If you have no knowledge, then what's the point of having kids? You know, it's like
exactly
tax credits. No, you know, gotta be more than just that.
Yeah, I'm always wanting that. I want to spread knowledge. Spread knowledge.
I think about the tax credits. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, you're good. I was just saying, like, that's what I'm here for, though. I've always wanted to be knowledgeable. I've always wanted to spread love, spread knowledge, and that's what I try to do. And if I don't have knowledge to spread, I'm not doing what I want to do. So, you know, that's where that comes from. You know, I do want to, down the line, eventually, like, let's hope that the streaming continues going as it's going, be able to spread the knowledge, like I'm already doing with, like, you know, the OT community with all the tutorials and stuff I do.
Let's come to the corner. Backflip, 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 backflip. So 4 backflips.
Like spreading the knowledge, building the community from that. Have a place where people can come to and be like, I don't know how to do this, and then within X amount of minutes or hours, have the answer to that.
You know, you said you started, you did that in 2021. So like, I guess let's go to the beginning of 2020. What would that be? 2024 is when you did the 100.
2023 to 2024. Yep.
Yeah. So like going to that, then that's like I would say that's like your actual start. I would believe. I mean, in my opinion,
I would class that is what I class as my start. But if you want the you know the intricacies of it, yeah, my actual start was way before that. But yeah.
Yeah. No, and I like that. I'm glad you told me about that too. So like, what was that first stream like? The day one out of like what was it? 370.
It was like 374 or 5 days before I decided to take the first day, and I think I didn't even take it by choice. I think I fell ill, to be honest with you, to the point where I was like, I can't get out of bed. So otherwise I would have still continued it on just for the sake of it.
Right.
But to go to the question, the first day I opened up my stream back in November, it was November 9th. I said it was November 6th. It happened to be November 9th. I double checked my statistics as of recently. But I opened up the stream and I said to myself, whatever comes from this comes from it, and we'll see what happens. And the only reason why I opened it was due to my nan situation. You know, I will go into that a little bit later on in the interview if you want to. There's no problem.
I have no question about that because I always promise people nothing personal. But if you want to talk about that, go.
I'm happy to.
Feel free.
that is the reason why I started streaming. I
the
will go
next
into that, of
question,
course,
yeah.
a bit later on. So,
Yeah.
with regards to that, I started my first stream, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I'd been in the Zelda community for a while, being a viewer, chatting to people who were doing Node Logic and doing different randomizers, and I didn't know how to get set up. And then some of the ship guys brought me on board, and we're like, "This is how easy it is." And literally download, do your own ROM, because I had to rip my own ROM. So I ripped my own ROM from my Zelda game, which is in the other room, put it on the computer, rip it, get it all up and running, and it was like literally 5 minutes, ready to rock and roll, done and dusted. And I was like, "It's that easy?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's that easy." So I started out with that, and it didn't really go anywhere. The first couple of streams wasn't really that great. I had no idea what I was doing, so I was like, I want to try other stuff. So I started out, to answer the question, as more of a variety streamer.
Oh.
I did like Dark Souls. I did different things like that, and that first time hitting go live, to answer the question, finally answer the question.
No, you're good.
I kind of just didn't know what I was going into. I didn't know what I was going into, so I was like, you know what? Let's see what happens. I'm quite into the option of just fuck around and find out. And that's literally what it was.
That's all streaming
That's
is.
literally what it was. 100%. Yeah, that was what it was.
So, was it Dark Souls just playthroughs, or was it randomizers? I know you do randomizers now with Archipelago, I believe. Randomizers?
Randomizer. I live and breathe randomizers, bro. That's my thing.
That's awesome. Like, dude, randomizers are the best though, and the community in every single randomizer, I guess, game, they're always so welcoming, and they're always so like just informative. Like the DK community is really actually interesting. DK64. It's probably like one of the most like welcoming I've ever seen. That is interesting though. So you started off as a variety streamer, and it's kind of funny because like nowadays I feel like you're kind of going back to those roots a little bit.
I am definitely. After you've played the same game for a year, I didn't play the same game for a year straight, but when you've 365 days, and out of those 365 days you do at least one randomizer every, let's say I did 300 randomizers. That's way lower than what I've done, by the way, because I have days where I do 2 or 3 seeds at a time on stream,
Right.
co-ops and stuff like that. So like I'm probably done, without exaggerating, 500, maybe 500 plus randomizers in a year. Which is why I have the knowledge I have though, right? Like that's where it all comes from.
Right.
It's just sticking in the hours for that. But yeah, that is exactly where I came from. Is just that whole randomizer stuff is a blessing, to be quite honest with you. It keeps everything fresh.
Yeah, no,
Keeps
right.
everything fresh.
That's what I always say about like the randomizer games, because I think that like when you randomize a game, it almost makes you feel like you're playing it for the first time again. Because like
It does.
you can't play OOT again for the first time, unless you get a lobotomy or something. But like, it's not really possible. So
Yeah, you will remember key factors of the game, right? Like there's no playthrough will ever be a first playthrough again.
yeah,
But randomizer does give you that little bit of an edge, because you never know what's going to open, whatever's going to come out of that chest that you open, or what are you going to get from completing a dungeon. It's always random, and that's the high I like to chase. that's my drug, is what's going to be in this chest.
Yeah.
That's my drug.
yeah, and it's like, how is it different from the last seed? That's also like my drug too. Like I love like comparing seeds. Like, was this one shitty? Was this one good? Like kind of like analyzing them as well. So I love that shit. I love randomizers so much.
Yeah.
So we were talking about your first stream though. So let's talk about like what got you into streaming. Like, what was the reason why you got into streaming, which you actually kind of were talking about a little bit. So fire away.
So the reason I got into streaming was as a lot of people in my community know, I started out with my nan's full-time carer. She, as of very recently, passed away towards the end of the new year there. But as of the 9th of November, in 2023, my nan had been going through about 5.5 to 6 years of vascular dementia. And my mum worked in the civil service. Currently still works in the civil service, and she only has 1 year left to do. And to save her having to lose her entire, like, you can only do 30 years of civil service here. I don't know if that's the same in America. But instead of her quitting and losing out on her big payout and stuff like that, and all of her financials and things like that, I said, look, I'll come out of my work and I'll look after Nan for the year while you finish up, and then afterwards I can go back into work if you want, because you'll be retired, and we'll go that way.
Right.
So I came out of work and I started looking after my nan in August 2023, and then November came and I said to myself, from August to November, I said to myself, I need to find something that I can sustain my own living with that will also possibly lead to something. And I've always had a knack for gaming. I've always been a gamer. From the day I can remember, I've had games in my hand. You know, it's always been the thing. And I said to myself, why don't I start streaming on Twitch?
Yeah.
And that was literally what it was. And it now is, with the passing of my nan, it's really solidified that I want to do this because I started it for her, and I want to make sure that I continue to do it in honor of her. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my like love and my fiery passion for this entire thing comes from. Is I wanted to do her proud. I think I have done her proud, and I want to continue to keep continuing doing her proud. So that's where that's what it's like for me. That's how I started out, was because of my nan's unfortunate condition. I was like, I need a way to sustain myself and sustain her as well, and that's where it all came from.
It's kind of weird. That actually kind of ties us together in a weird way, because I was not able to afford a PC or anything like that. And when my grandma was actually alive, I told her about Twitch. She goes, I know about Twitch. So she gave me $5,000. And, you know,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, you know, I was able to get the PC, all this kind of stuff. Like, she believed in me a lot. She never got to see, like, my success, but I really do believe that she is, like, looking down and, like, she sees it. So, like, that's, like, kind of, like, a weird thing that we have together, because, like, I do this for her, too, you know, in a way. So, I love that. I actually love that.
I respect that a lot. I respect that a lot.
I respect that for you, too, man. I mean, well, you put a lot more work than I did. I mean, 370 days.
That's not even what it's about, though. Like, you know, it's one person can go one way and one person can go another way. You know, you have your full-time job that you're still in, things like that there.
Yeah.
I just had the free time, so I have the ability to do that. Thankfully, I say thankfully. Thankfully, due to the situation I was in, I could do it. Obviously, the situation I'm not very thankful for, because no one wants to wish ill health upon anyone. But, you know, I made the best out of a bad situation, because, you know, I tried to anyway, and I believe I've done very well with that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think your channel's awesome, and you definitely grew like a huge, really welcoming, friendly community. So, you know, and that's what we're going to be talking about, you know? So, like, I love the beginning stories with that, for sure. I just asked you, like, what the reason was, but was there anybody that you ever looked up to, streaming-wise, whether it's, like, a YouTuber, a Twitch guy? Like, is there anybody that you actually saw before you started streaming and it was like, oh, I want to kind of do that, you know? Like, any influences?
I mean, I'm influenced a lot by success. I love seeing other people who are successful and trying to adapt that success into my own life. I've always been, as I said earlier, I'm always ready to absorb more knowledge and more strength into myself in any way I can. So, individuals specifically, the only person who would ring the bell right now who actually isn't like they're not a huge streamer, was the first person who ever got me into streaming, which was Raccoon Cloud. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's part of the ship guys. He was the guy who was just like, just go for it. Like, why not? Why not stream your seeds? And you know, outside of obviously, of course, my nanny and whatnot, like he was the guy who was like, just do it. The worst case scenario is, you know, you don't get a viewer. You know, it is what it is. But he was the one guy who, I don't even think he knows this, by the way. I have never really sat down and spoke to him and been like, you know, you're the kind of the reason why I started this, outside of, like, you know, the arrangements of what's going on with my life.
Right.
Like, you were the one that kind of was like, just go do it. And I don't think he knows that, but that is the one guy who I looked up to whenever I started, because he was doing all these tricks and stuff, and he was teaching me tricks through his stream, and then I knew some stuff from watching and whatnot, so I was teaching him back via text in his chat, and then that sort of built us a bond, and then that's how we sort of bonded from that in the ship community.
So how long did you watch him before you started like streaming your own seeds?
Oh goodness, it probably wouldn't have been too long. I'd say maybe a month, maybe not even a month, something like that. Say a month time frame. Just because I'm very eager. Whenever I've got a passion for something, I need to jump on that immediately and activate. So if I have an absolute love for Zelda, no matter what, the old N64 Zeldas, and watching him play a randomizer, I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is just different. Like I said, it's like a fresh playthrough every single time. Like, what's there not to love?
Right.
So for me, I think about a month. I think the answer to that question would be about a month. And then I was like, it's time to actually activate on this. Because the worst case scenario is, I've always told people, the worst case scenario in everything is nothing happens. What do you do? At that point, there's nothing, like, you didn't lose anything. I didn't lose nothing.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I mean, it's not like you shoot yourself on stream and, like, it's like, oh, my life's over, I'm, you know, humiliated. Like, nothing bad's gonna happen. by streaming,
Exactly.
you know? Nothing will. Unless, like, you do something crazy on stream, like
Yeah,
a
unless you get
meltdown.
cancelled and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, like, say a slur or something like that. Like, yeah. Like,
Yeah, if you were to do something like that, that would be a problem. You
Yeah.
know? But obviously, have a bit of common sense. You know, everybody was born with a little bit of common sense. All you got to do is use it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
I mean, hopefully people are, but, you know, sometimes, I don't know.
It's questionable sometimes, to be fair. Yeah, I'll agree with that. There's some people I question.
A lot of people. It's kind of scary sometimes. That's pretty cool, though. Like, Raccoon Cloud, I definitely know who that is. He definitely seems like a really cool guy. And all of that influence, all of that kind of led to where you are right now, you know? All of your success. And you even hitting 1K last year. What was that like? When you hit 1,000, you hit your 4 digits. Like, what was that? Like,
Well, I'll tell you the even better thing. I started out 2024, January 1st, with 240, I think it was, or 250 followers. And I said to myself, okay, I want 500 by the end of the year. I want 500 by the end of 2024. And the reason I said 500 was because I said to myself, it shouldn't be too hard to get less than 1 follower a day. I just have to be online.
Yeah.
And I was planning to be online for 5-6 hours average a day, which ended up being the case. It was around about 5.8 hours a day or something. It ended up being for the full year thing. So I said to myself, if I can get 1 person to follow me every day for a year, I'll hit my goal. And I'll with some change, I'll be like 600 and something or whatever it would be. That's not that hard. And I hit 500 in like, I think it was March. I have it on my, I have it on my profile. And you know, I was like, this is going way quicker. There's something not going right. This is not right. Why do people like me? Why are people following me and watching me? What have I done? What's going on? My 1K was the 22nd of September.
jeez.
The 22nd of September it was. Hitting that 1K, I just felt like, it felt a bit surreal, I'll be honest, because there's a lot of people, and I'm sure you know yourself. Like, I came from 200 and I hit, by the end of the year, I gained 1,250 followers maybe. So I
Wow.
basically got 1,000 followers in a year, which is a lot for somebody who has no background. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody. I mean, I'm not a big name by any means, but you know, people do know who I am now within the OT community. But hitting that 1K was so surreal to me. It's like I woke up in a bit of a fever dream, and I was kind of like, what's going on? Why have I got this kind of like levels of success? Because like I said, there's a lot of people who have been going for like 3, 4, 5 years, and they're at like 600, 500, 400
Yes.
followers. I'm like, what? And I don't mean to sound arrogant or anything when I say this, but what are you doing that you're not growing, and why are you not growing? Because I haven't done. I'm not making all these flashy, like, you know, scenes and stuff. I literally have the most vanilla, basic OBS, and I hit start stream. I have no idea what I'm doing that makes it successful, and maybe it's just like the level that I play at with Zelda might be why people, you know, tune in and enjoy watching it. But I just don't understand. So whenever I hit that 1K, I was like, okay, there's something here. That was the biggest thing, was there's something here. I have a potential to make this into something, and to grow this into something that I do want to pursue.
Right. Yeah, and like not even just, you know, your skill level, but like have you ever like actually thought about it? Like, why have I grown so fast? Like, you probably like thought about it. You probably have some ideas. I mean, I have some, but
I mean, if you have ideas why I grew so fast, please share them with me. My own, like, I just think it is like, I mean, I'm very community based, and
Yes.
I am very front facing. Like, you can say something to me, and I will take it at face value, and anything I say, I will not sugarcoat. I don't have time for that. Like, if I'm not going to be like, oh, you're doing great, keep up the good work. You're doing great. I'll be like, oh, you just need to do this. This is not working, right? I'm very front on, and a lot of people don't like that, but I think a lot of people also do like that. So it's a very split thing, and I think that resonates more with people because I class it as being real.
right.
I'm a real person. I will tell you straight to your face. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat stuff and tell you you're doing things great whenever you're not. Or if you ask me for feedback on something, I'm not going to be like, yeah, it's good. It's good whenever I think it's crap. So that I think also plays into it quite a lot. But I'd love to hear what you think,
Well,
the reasons why.
That's pretty much like it, right? I mean, there's that, like the community base and how you're real, and you know, I'm the same way with my stream. Like, I'm pretty real with people. Like, I'll just say how it is. Like, if someone's gonna be an asshole in chat, like, fuck you. Like, I don't need the follower. And also at the same time too, like, you know, I do share a lot of my personal life on Twitch as well. Like, I don't see the harm in doing that. People kind of like get freaked out when they do that. Like, I'm not gonna say my name. It's like, who cares? You know, like nobody's gonna get a ticket
Yeah.
to fucking find you unless they really do. But I mean, then just get them arrested. I don't know. I don't see the big deal. Like I think that when you do tell your story on Twitch to somebody, like personal story, it can resonate with somebody. Maybe they're suicidal or they're going through their shit. Like that could actually like save somebody's life, you know, when they can connect with somebody. Maybe they have nobody in their life, you know, so.
That is a big thing as well. Touching on 2 points there, the resonate with other people. I have a lot of people in my community. Shout out to Stuff, for instance, Lady Stuff. You obviously know Stuff.
Yes.
Stuff is a fantastic individual. Me and her bonded through having the same love and care for an individual in our lives. I'm not going to tell Stuff's story. That's not my place to do.
Yeah.
But we both have. Mine was obviously for my nan. Hers was for her individual in the in question. But like we resonated through that and found an incredible friendship. You know, and that's one of very, very many people that is in the community that have the same idea where they're looking after somebody else that they care for or something's going on. So that is another thing. You know, people, you don't know what's going on behind closed curtains. All
Yeah.
I want to do is offer you a safe space. And that's what I try to do.
And I think that's important, you know, because, you know, that's actually a good point that you just made too. Like, it actually helps you heal in some ways too, because you can, like, hear people's stories and, you know, you have somebody to talk to about your issues and stuff. So that's like very important. Like, community-based stuff is always like the probably most important thing with Twitch streamers, I think. I mean, if you don't have a community, I think you're never gonna grow. If you don't like care about the people that watch you too, you're definitely not gonna grow. Unless you're like really cracked at a game, then maybe, but I think it's like kind of stupid and foolhardy to like not care about people that are supporting you every day, but there are people out there that are don't give a fuck. So it's kind of weird.
That is true. Yeah, there's people, like you said, there's people out there who are absolutely phenomenal at games but have zero personality. I'm not gonna name anybody because I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah, I can name.
Like, I'm not here to shit on anybody. Period.
Yeah.
But you know, there is people who are out there who are absolutely insanely good at games, but just don't have the community. Like they just don't care or don't do anything with the community, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
Especially whenever there's people who are, you know, subscribing to you, giving you their, you know, their hard-earned cash, basically. Like, I want to show as much love and appreciation to that as possible. Invite them to do different, you know, community nights. That's one thing I do lack a little bit on, I'll be honest, is I don't really have very many subscriber benefits, other than, like, you know, you get emotes on Twitch or whatever, and I really should offer more. I've looked into the whole merch stuff, and I haven't bothered to sort of activate on that. That's laziness on my part. I'll hold my hand up for that. That might come in the future. I've had some crazy ideas in my direction that would slap, but I'll be honest, like I say, it's laziness on my part. I do need to activate on that a little bit more, but I just need to find out more things I could do for the people who want to support me. Because again, it's other people who are giving me that, you know, as I said, they're hard-earned cash. They go to work, they work in 9 to 5, or they do whatever they do for a job, and then they're like, I want to give this person, for me it's £5, £10, or £25, depending on the tier.
Yeah.
So I would love to be able to not only just I offer community nights to people, to everybody in the community, but I'd love to do something more special just specifically for those guys. But I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but it's actually another good point too that you just talked about, like how people subscribe and give you money. Like that's actually another reason why people should be more personal to their community on Twitch. I think, you know, obviously everybody has like their own comfortability, but like you never know who you're like giving money to. Like it could be like you never really know, right? Like it could be like a complete scumbag that's doing something fucking crazy, you know, like you have no idea what their life is about, you know, like, or they might just not share your beliefs, I guess, in life, you know, like. If you're giving them money, it's like that's kind of fucked up, you know. So I always think that just being upfront and real is always like a great thing. It's just my opinion, which is why I've always like loved your streams and why I want to interview you, by the way, too, because you know, like being real. Like all the people that I've interviewed so far are like pretty real. I don't know. I just think it's such a really important thing, and I understand people just having kind of like shells and just kind of like wanting to be private, but I don't know. I think it's kind of like a disservice to your community when you do that.
Yeah, going back to saying, you know, whenever I said earlier, I had 2 things to touch on. That one thing you were saying there is hiding away from your community seems like such a shitty thing for me. I don't really like that.
Yeah.
And again, there's people who are online who do not want their personal details and stuff out there. I have found that if you don't want your personal details out there, some person somewhere in some random country is just going to find them anyway, and then leak them. So there's no point hiding it. There's just not a point in hiding it. So I've always told people, like, the people, obviously I go by BURTONTTV. My first name is Jason. Nobody calls me Jason, because even my family call me Burton. It's just how I've always been known. And like, I don't care that people know that, but some people are very cautious, don't want to do face on stream. You know, some people are VTubers, PNG tubers, don't use a cam at all.
Yeah.
Use voice tubers on stream. There's so many ways to hide yourself, but the problem is if you get caught with, like, you know, I'm gonna say, if you get caught with your pants down, one day you turn on your stream and you forget to activate your VTuber model and it's just your face.
Yeah.
And you don't delete your VOD, someone picks that up quickly. You know, that you might never want to turn your camera on again. They might never want to stream again because you're trying to hide something. And whatever it may be, I think you just need to sort of step up to the plate and accept the fact that the biggest thing is acceptance. Accept the fact that, you know, people online are going to be shit. There's people online who are shit.
Yeah.
But there's this really cool invention called the block button. And it's fantastic. And if you don't want somebody saying bad things about you, you just tap that button and it's really cool. It gets rid of the message and you never see that person again. It's a new invention. That is the best advice I can give to anybody, is use that button. You are the administrator of your channel. If somebody gives you shit, get rid of them. You don't need to have them around.
Yeah.
You don't need them to have them around.
No, exactly. And you know, I could see, like, people being, you know, like, VTubers. I could see that. That's fine. But at least tell your first name. Like, nobody could dox you if you just say, like, oh, I'm Stephanie, you know? Like, nobody's gonna be like, Stephanie from the US, and, like, go through the entire registry of, like, Stephanie.
Yeah.
That's fucking mental. You know what I mean?
Only millions to go through. Only millions to go through at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I'll even go right down to where, like, the city that I live in. People know the city I live in. It's public information. It's on my Steam. If you really want to go see it, go find it. But I mean, I probably won't tell you my address because I don't need random stuff appearing at my door.
Oh God, yeah.
Because I have some mad people. I have some mad people in my community who would do funny jokes, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. But I just don't need that right now.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, you know, like, I even tell my city. I live in Buffalo, you know, and, like, some people won't even, like, tell, like, what state they're from, which the United States is fucking huge, you know. Like, if you say you're from Alabama, like, you know, they're not gonna find you. I mean, unless somebody drives around every neighborhood in Alabama, but, like, nah, it's just not gonna happen. It's just kind of, like, weird to me. Yeah, it's a waste. Yeah, it's weird. And also, you just can't connect with the community as much, you know. And then people are like, "Why am I not growing on Twitch?" Well, it's like, because nobody knows who the fuck you even are.
Yeah, like, again, to everybody, include, like, even me and you, we're complete strangers on the internet. We just happen to bond over, like, liking the same things, and, you know, having a proper outlook on this. I understand you want to pursue a career yourself,
Right.
in streaming or in content creation in some sort of way, and so do I. And I don't feel like somebody who's hiding behind a mask as such is going to be able to do that. Don't get me wrong, there's people, like, you know, obviously you have Dream, who was like the Minecraft YouTuber who didn't show his face and had millions of subscribers.
Yeah.
But he is such a minority. There is that minority of people who can do that. I don't know what his success story is. I don't know much about him. I just not happen to know he did a face reveal at whatever million subscribers he had. So, you know, he got famous from doing something that was, I assume, Minecraft related, or collabing with some people who were on the Minecraft side of things. I'm assuming, because that's where the majority of his subscriber base comes from.
Yeah.
But again, like, if you load up the Ocarina of Time, I'm going to use that a lot here, obviously, because that's where I'm based out of it. But if you load up the Ocarina of Time, there's so few people with face cams, bro. They're all VTubers, or they're all PNG tubers, or they're just no cam.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's for me. I want to grow as a person, and I want to make a relationship with a person, and not gameplay. If I wanted to watch gameplay, I could go on YouTube.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I want to build a relationship with the person behind the camera. That's what I try to offer to people as well, of course.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why it's, like, hard for me to watch anybody without a face camera, because it's like, it's very hard for me to do it, because I can't see the person that's talking, and I don't know. To me, it's kind of, I feel like I have no connection to, like, what I'm watching. I could just be playing the game myself. If I want to watch gameplay, I'll just fucking play it myself.
Play the game yourself, yeah. Literally,
You know,
it's
it's so stupid, but it is what it is, you know, sometimes. But, you know, speaking of, like, just, you know, the OOT community, you just mentioned them, and just anybody, just all these different people, like Dream, whatever. If you could, like, choose one person to collab with, you know, whoever it is on the platform, who would you collab with, and why?
the OG Fro, man. That's my boy right there. I don't care about anybody else. Give me the OG Froman as my dream collab right here, right
okay.
now. Let's Super Mario 64 it up. I don't care what we do. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to do collaborations with everybody. I don't really have a dream collab. I'll be quite honest with you. I feel like I want to. A lot of people would say like somebody who's already made it, so that they can sort of, I'm gonna use the word sponge, maybe leech a little bit off like that view count and have people know you immediately. I want to earn my way to the top. I don't have any dream collabs. Obviously ZFG is an obvious one. I have actually reached out to ZFG. I've spoke to ZFG and we've DM'd back and forth a little bit because I did want to have him on. Yeah, I did want to have him on my 1 year stream as a race. That was going to be the plan. I told nobody this, except there was, I think, actually there was like 2 or 3 people I told, and unfortunately he was busy. He was busy doing his low percent at the time, so I assume that's what he was caught up with. So that never went ahead.
But he was gonna do it if he wasn't busy.
No,
or
I have no idea. I just know he was busy with his projects. But it would have been pretty cool if I had somebody like that just randomly pop on stream. But one day I'd be like, "Yo, what's up, guys? It's just me and ZFG. We're just gonna do a race here." Everyone would be like, "Wait, what?"
He's the king of OOT.
He is the name of OOT. Yeah, he is the guy you look up to if you're playing OOT. 100%. The guy he can do things that you don't even know exists in the game. Like he's been in the genre for literally a decade plus now.
Yeah.
So it's very obvious that he's the guy that everyone looks up to.
Who would you say was the king of Majora's Mask? That's kind of an interesting question, because, like, I think of 3 people when I say that.
The king of Majora's Mask?
And I'm going to be interviewing one of them, actually, which is kind of cool, but not yet.
That's neat. That's neat. I mean, so Majora's Mask is my second game, so I've always watched speedruns on Majora's Mask.
Uh-huh.
And the one that I always watched was, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Enop. I think it's Enop 122, I think it is.
Yep.
He's the guy that I will always watch if it's MM related. He's the most calm, relaxed person in the world when it comes to speedrun. He'll get a world record and be like, "Oh, cool, world record." It's like, what? Bro, smile.
Dude, he's even more calm than ZFG.
He is really good. He is, bro. He is, yeah, 100%. But he would probably be the guy that because he's been around in the scene for so long as well. He is fantastic at what he does. But if I'm talking randomizer style, I would go Majin Phil. Maybe like he's a huge name, especially in Zelda. Fantastic individual. I watch him quite a bit. I'm more of a lurker, so I don't really talk on streams too much. But he's very, very good. Really good friends with a good few friends of mine in this space. And I would say that if I was going randomizer, I'd put him. But if I was going speedrun, I really like Enop. I just like his cool, calm, collected, like outlook on everything. So that would be my 2. I'd be interested to hear yours. Tell me yours.
Well, the third one's the one that I'm going to be interviewing, which is up. We'll be a huge Zelda guest in the future, so please subscribe, and you'll find out later on.
I'm really happy that you get to interview him as well. That is really cool. That's a good W right there.
You know, so we talked about 1K, like hitting 1K. That's a huge achievement, right? But other than just that, though, and also like doing all those 374 days, you said, right? Was it 4? I can't remember.
I think it was 374. It's something like that. But I just said it's a year. I don't really count the change.
Okay.
That was the goal.
I was gonna say a year then. So, you know, hitting 1K and streaming for a year, those are really big achievements. But like, other than that, like, what would you say is like your biggest achievement on Twitch? Like, what do you personally like hold as a huge either milestone or achievement or something that you're really proud of?
I mean, the 1 year is my biggest achievement because I said to myself that started out. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail here. I started out with that saying I'll do a month straight. Again, 2021 January to February, I'll do a month. Failed it. So I said to myself in 2023 November, I was like, I'm doing a month and nothing is going to stop me this time because I'm literally not doing anything except for streaming, and I smashed it. And then I was like, I'll do 2, and then I done 2 months, and I was like, maybe I just go for a year. So, which is a bit of a jump, and I did the year. So don't get me wrong, there was a lot of adversity I had to overcome, and there was a few days where I was like, this is terrible. I was sick 3 times in the year, and those 3 times I streamed right through it. I may as well have no voice. My camera may as well have been upside down. I was that bad looking. Like it was terrible. But that year straight is by far my biggest achievement. But if we're not including that, and we're not including like the 1K and whatever else, I would say building a Discord and building a community from scratch. I'm very, very proud of that. in a year, I built a Discord from 0 members to almost 300, which is
Wow.
very, very good for somebody who has no background. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows what I'm doing. Nobody knows anything about me. Only what I've shared online by that time. So starting a Discord and starting a community and building it up to just under 300 people is by far, because it's hard, bro. It's easy to press a follow button and never speak in someone's chat. I'm sure you've had this yourself. You've had people come in, follow, and never speak.
Oh yeah.
And I appreciate those guys as much as the next, don't get me wrong. But trying to get somebody like that to then also click on a Discord and jump into a social environment is probably not going to happen.
Yes.
So, converting the people who you have as followers into like a social environment where you can talk to them in a one-to-one basis is what I want to do. And having that, like having enough people to believe that that's worth coming to have 300 people believe that it's worth coming into a Discord to chat with me and chat with each other is beautiful. It's really beautiful. It really is.
Yeah, I know it's massive, and getting him to go to Discord or even like subscribing to YouTube too is hard too. So like,
Yep.
Just doing anything other than just being, I guess, just lurking in a chat is kind of like a hard task. And when they actually do that, it's kind of a big deal. Like just getting like one new Discord member is like, holy shit, like it's kind of crazy. So like, yeah, you going from 0 to 300 is like pretty massive in a year. I mean, that's pretty big. Like, do you see yourself doing anything different with your Discord? Like, I know some people do like movie nights and shit. I don't really know how that works, but I feel like at that point it gets too parasocial when you do it, but I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
For me personally, my Discord stuff is all based on gaming. Movie nights, I would probably look into that more. Do you know what? I'm entirely I'm the most scared about DMCA and stupid things that can happen, and I don't know how legal stuff are. So like, I don't want to be sitting there streaming a movie from Netflix and then not that anybody would report it because that's just stupid, but like if something happened where it was like, oh, you shouldn't be sharing this content because you don't have a license, then I'm all of a sudden, oh yeah, you're right, like what am I like?
Yeah.
That's not great. So I try to stay within the legal boundaries I have and try to work from that to my knowledge of what I can and can't do. So movie nights is something I think it's a great area. I'm not a big fan of that. Just because I don't know what's legal and what's not. I don't know, like I already run the Archipelago every 2 weeks. I run co-ops every Tuesday and Thursday, and then on Saturdays that I'm not doing the Archipelago, I do deception games most nights of the week where, there's a good 20 to 25 of us in there that will always, join us for different deception games, Goose Goose Duck, Among Us, things like that, Lockdown Protocol. There's a lot of community building that I do, and I think that's another reason why a lot of people sort of resonate well with me, is because I'm not just like, you see me online and then you see me online the next day and then there's nothing, then you see me online the next day, then there's nothing. I'm always there chatting, doing things with the guys in the community. So I think just continuing to build a community and just continuing to do community-based stuff, which I know is illegal, is probably the best way to answer that, because I just don't know what else there is to it other than build the community and game with them. That's what they know me for, so why not do that?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so like building a huge community is a huge achievement as well. Like the Discord, and the 1K streaming for a year straight. That's a lot. So that's your current achievements, though. So what does Burton see himself doing in the future? Like, are there any future goals that you have? Like, I want to reach that really bad. Like this, that, the third. I
set out goals for this year. And I'll explain the goals I had for the 2024, and then I'll explain my 2025 goals. So I had reached 500 followers. I hit 1,250. Start a community, and at the time of writing it, I had 260 people inside that Discord, and make OOT glitch tutorials more accessible, because I'm a no logic randomizer player, and I have now over 100. Well, I have now over 160, I think, but there's I had at the time over 130 clips on my YouTube. Started from scratch, so they were my goals. Reach 500, start a community, and make more accessible glitch tutorials in OOT. And I did that, and I feel like I smashed them out of the park. I'm very successful with that.
Yeah.
And this year I have reached 2,000 followers. I am currently, as of right now, 1,305.
Damn.
Which is not bad. So a little more than what I had expected. So I've got about 700, let's say 700, rounded up. 700 to get within the year, which I don't think, going off of last year's, I think that's doable. So I should be okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to be disheartened if I don't get get my Discord to 500 members. That's more of a harder one because obviously, like I said, it's easy to click the follow button, but it's hard to convert that then into somebody who's going to be social and being part of your community, be active, things like that. And then of course the one that you probably know is I want to reach partner.
Yeah.
I want to reach partner on Twitch. That is the other main goal. And I really do feel like with the looking at the graph and looking at the exponential growth I've had within a year, I feel like that's definitely achievable.
Yeah, and for you, definitely will be pretty quickly. Maybe even this year. So you want to hit it this
Fingers
year?
crossed. That's my plan for this year. Yeah, I'd like to hit it this year. That would be ideal. That would be ideal.
Do you have any like plans for when you do hit it? Like how you're gonna celebrate? Or well, you probably didn't think that far ahead, but
yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest with you. I'm a very much live in the moment kind of guy. I don't get excited for things until it happens. Like I could book a holiday to America for April, and I'll not be like jumping out of my boots with excitement until literally I land in America. Like I need to make sure I'm there before I start celebrating anything or planning anything.
Yeah,
things can go pear-shaped, things can go wrong, and I'm more than happy to accept if something does go wrong and try to work through that and work around that.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah, get me there first, and then we'll we'll all celebrate when we get there. Get me there first.
And also, like, partner is always one of those weird things where it almost feels like it's just not real, like to get to, even like
that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like thinking about like how you're gonna celebrate is kind of scary because it doesn't even feel like it's ever gonna happen. But like for you, definitely will, I think. So hopefully this year, that'd be fucking awesome. Because you probably average like what 30.
So
30,
like I look at my analytics quite a lot, so I do. Basing it off of sort of the last, from around July 24 till about November, maybe October, I was averaging like mid 20s, and then out of nowhere now I'm getting like I'm seeing spikes of up to 50 in like no, that's not average, that's peak viewers without raids, without any sort of shout outs during the stream and things like that, just from people wanting to naturally gravitate towards the stream. And I don't know where that jumps came from, because I do nothing different. I press start stream and then I close stream 6-7 hours later, and that's it. Like I do nothing different. So whatever is making that jump with people, I don't know what that is. But maybe it's just like I say, with the continuous growth of the channel, more people are just returning and watching and lurking and doing things like that. So I really feel like it is achievable. I'm jumping from that 25 to that sort of mid 30s to high 30s average now. Is only going to exponentially get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep. Yeah, it's not going to go downwards unless you do something crazy, but or just
Fingers
start playing.
Crossed. Let's hope I don't do that.
Yeah, don't do anything crazy, like, or like completely switch your gameplay, like just go to Fortnite or something stupid. Can you imagine?
I wouldn't even know how to play. I've never played Fortnite. That's
Neither have I.
That's something I've never played, and I stand proud on this hill. I stand proud on this hill. I will not be changed.
I told people if I ever hit Twitch partner, I will play Fortnite. That's my little, I guess, incentive for them to actually like follow. I guess I don't know.
That might be a D incentive, or whatever the opposite of an incentive is. I don't know if I would want to watch Fortnite. I'll support you anyway. Do you know what I mean? As a brother, as I see you as a brother. But like,
oh, thank you.
If you're playing Fortnite, you're alert at the very best of times. If you're playing Fortnite, I have no care for that game wholeheartedly.
I would never like completely switch over to Fortnite, but I would play it like a few nights a week, I guess. For like a few months and then call it a day.
Yeah, if it's a community-based thing, that could be cool too. Do you know what I mean? If you did a community-based, I could understand that's different.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't have any interest in watching Fortnite. It's just not. I don't like battle royales. It's not my thing.
We were just talking about hypothetical future games to play, but actual future games to play. Like, do you see yourself changing your content at all in the future? And what would you be doing if you do?
This is a good question. I'm a big Zelda fan. I'm a big Zelda fan. OOT and Majora's Mask in the last year, I've put in 1,500 hours on my stream.
Oh my god!
On both of those games combined, over 1,000 on OOT and over 500, close to 500, sorry, on Majora's Mask. I mean, I feel like my goal is to be one of the best, if not the best, in OOT randomizers, and I want to solidify my name in that. So I feel like if I deviate what I do, that's going to just hinder my progress towards that. So for me, I think I want to stick to the randomizers, and I don't think I'll deviate much. I will still do variety. I do archipelagos. I varietize my content basically every 2 weeks. But the nitty gritty bare bones of everything, I want to learn all the tricks. I want to teach all the tricks. I want to know how to get through every wall. I want to be able to walk through every wall. I want to be able to do anything you can think of in the game. And in order to do that, I just have to put in the hours. So whether it's 10,000 hours down the line and I'm still playing Zelda, whether it's the same viewers I had X hours, X months, X years ago, doesn't matter to me. Because at the end of the day, I want that's the base of my community is Zelda, is the Zelda community. So I think to answer the question, I think I just stick to what I do.
Don't fix what's not broken.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if I'm doing well as it is right now, and as you've seen yourself, I'm going to use ZFG again as an example. Imagine Phil, they can both pull 4-figure active viewers, live viewers in their channel on a game that's 26 years old.
Yeah.
The game's not dead. The game's not dead. They just have a very, very big, strong fan base, and that's what I want. I want to be the next one of them, if you will. So yeah, I need to stick to what I'm doing, and then people will know me for that if I get there. So that's the plan.
Yeah, and you probably will get there. I mean, you definitely are on the pathway to go, going there, and you learn so many different tricks and so many different glitches and stuff. So, I mean, it will help you in the end. So people definitely love to learn about the tricks. Like they have to just watch them. Like ZFG had his glitch showcase or whatever it was called at AGDQ. So that's pretty cool to watch.
One, yep.
Like, people fucking love watching that shit. So.
They do. They really do.
It's like mesmerizing because like they can't do it, so it's like, just watch somebody else do it.
Exactly. What somebody else who can do it, and then you're like, I didn't even know that was possible. That's the craziness about it. Like people don't know how much you can actually do in a game, or how broken that game actually is, right? Like, I can go through a lot of the different walls by doing silly, stupid tricks, but like even still to this day, I load up a game and I'm like, wait, what? You can do that? And I've played, as I say, 1,000 hours in the last year of this game, and I'm still learning. There's things to do, and there's different alternative methods for X, Y, and Z. So it just goes to show you, continually learning every single day. Even the vanilla game scares me sometimes. I'm like, this was here in the vanilla game?
Yeah.
What? I still learn that there's stuff missing or stuff in the game that I never knew was there, never knew existed. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, the vanilla game is kind of weird because like there are so many different weird things, like different chests, and like, I mean, we know where the chests are, but like when you actually open it up in the vanilla game, you're like, oh, that was here. Like it's kind of weird.
What that is? Yeah. That's that. I think that's a randomizer thing though, because the randomizer corrupts your brain. You're never going to remember what vanilla checks are what until once you've done, 500 randomizers. There's no way. There's just no way. Because you don't play the vanilla game over and over again. You play a randomizer, which is always different.
Like the only time you'll actually remember a chest is if it's like the hook shot chest or the boss key. Like,
yeah.
But obviously those look different anyway. So.
Yeah, if you open up a small brown chest in Goron Maze, you're like, I don't know what. The last time I opened that had light arrows in it.
Right.
If you ask me what that is in vanilla, I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it's like arrows and like a bomb, like.
yeah, it's just refills of ammo or gold rupees and things like that. There's certain ones that will stick with you, but for the majority of the time, the vanilla knowledge is quite interesting. It is quite interesting when you eventually go back to it after playing so many randomizers. It does blow your mind a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But we talked about you talked about how you streamed for a year. So what was that like? Like, how were you able to do that? What was every day like during that? Like, what was the process with that?
My day-to-day life would have been, so I worked prior to that. I worked a 1 to 10 p.m. job in my local time zone, which was an 8 to 5. I worked for an American-based company online. I was a cybersecurity analyst. The cybersecurity engineer, pardon me. So I did a 1 to 10. So I have had the sleeping pattern of go to bed at like 4:30, wake up at 12, shower, get ready for your day, go to work, come back home, game, do whatever you're doing for the evening. The last 6 hours, go to sleep, rinse and repeat. So I kept that as my stream schedule, which works quite well with the likes of the East Coast Americans, because that's what I based my work off of. So anybody who was working or who is in the East Coast can lurk me while they're in work or can chat to me while they're working, and it hits a nice little, because not only the East Coast Americans but then the UK guys and the European guys also see me in like a time where they would be finishing work, so that I hit basically every time zone. So I'm quite blessed with that decision. I would wake up, my day-to-day life would be wake up say about 12 o'clock. When I was doing the 1 to 10, I've varietised a bit more. I started more towards 2 or 3 now. Just sort of trial and error to see what time zones work best and what happens and who's available and whatnot. You know, I would wake up about 12. I would do a little bit of morning routine, you know, obviously get up, shower, get ready, get dressed. I don't really do breakfast. I probably should, but I don't do breakfast. Turn on stream for 1, and then I would stream for, let's say, 5 hours till 6 or 6:30. And then back then, it would be go see Nan for a little bit, hang out with her while she was still around, hang out with Mum, hang out with my grandfather, go see friends, come back home for like, let's throw an arbitrary number there, 9 p.m. And then the rest of the night is myself, which I would have had anyway because due to finishing work. So my schedule didn't really change a lot. So it didn't, and I'm very glad that's what I stuck to because it seems to have worked. It seems to have worked the whole way through, from my previous job.
So like getting up, you know, getting the motivation to actually like go to the computer every day is, you know, that's not easy at all, right? Like, so getting up to actually, you know, press live for a year straight. I mean, I can't even do it for a week straight. So like, I couldn't even imagine doing it for a year. So like, how did you get the motivation, I guess, to do that?
It's just when it's routine. It comes down to routine, right? Like, think of it like me pressing go live is like you walking out the door to go to work. That's how I put it in my head. I was like, I want this to be my job. I want this to be my full-time thing. I can't slack on my job in real life, so I'm not going to slack on my job here.
Yeah.
I say real life, like I'm not living in real life. I'm living in some arbitrary, you know, life. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if my boss needs me in work, I'm going to be in work. You know what I'm saying? On my dedicated shift. So that motivated me. I've always been very disciplined. You know, I don't. When I was in work, I would go to work if my arms and legs were hanging off, you know, and they'd be like, "Please just go home." It's not me, it's you. Please go home.
It's not me, it's you.
So I have that. I've always had that quite good discipline with like showing up to work no matter what sort of state I'm in, unless I physically can. Then you know I will do that. So that's my discipline for streaming, is the routine that I was in. I just stuck to it. I just pretended it was still work. Which I guess you could kind of class it as now, because I mean I don't even see it as work. The biggest factor for me is I never once in those, and still to this date, never once woke up and been like, oh, I do not want to press this go live button. I just don't want to. That has never crossed my mind. I'm so thankful for that.
Wow.
Because what I do is, I think the reason for that is because what I do is what I want to do. Like I don't load up my stream and play something because I know it does numbers. I want to play Zelda, bro. I want to do stupid tricks. I want to make myself look silly on stream. I want to do, you know, fun things. I want to interact with people. Like that for me is that's the reason. That is the reason entirely in its entirety. It's just I don't feel demotivated playing stuff that I want to play. There's days where I'll wake up and I'll be like, I could maybe play like Rocket League because I play competitive Rocket League.
Yeah.
Maybe play Rocket League. So you know, I'll load up Rocket League instead. I don't hesitate to ever hit the go live button. I just go, I'll play what I want to play today because that's what I do every single day of the week.
Right.
Some days I want to play Zelda, some days I want to play Rocket League, sometimes I want to play Dark Souls or Elden Ring or whatever it may be. So the biggest thing is just play what you want to play, and then you'll never really feel like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Because that God forbid that happens, but if that did happen, I think I'd be very lost. I'd probably feel more of a burnout from that.
That's actually it's such a similar message, but I've like heard from Nycro, Professor, Small Mom, Dizzy said that too. I think Astrobear might have said it too. But like, you know, people always like, everybody I've interviewed so far has said like, play what you want to play, fuck the numbers. Because if you don't enjoy what you're playing, you're gonna sit here, you know, with the controller and be like, hey guys, so here's a gameplay of like Fortnite, and like I fucking hate my life. Like nobody wants to fucking watch that, you know?
Yeah, nobody does, yeah.
So like if you're like, oh, you know, OT randomizer, and you're kind of pumped about it, people want to like, they'll feel your energy and they'll want to like.
Your energy shares. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like really important. And you know, speaking of OT though, you do a lot of glitches in OT, a lot of different things, a lot of different glitches, tricks, all this kind of crazy shit I've seen you do, and I'm like, what is your favorite glitch and what was your least favorite glitch or trick, whatever one you want to do? So I think there's a difference, right, between glitch and trick.
Yeah, this is something that plagues my mind as well. People are like, I don't want people to do glitches. I want people to only do tricks. And there's a very weird line for that, right?
Right.
Like people know chicken behind the waterfall, where you know you grab the chicken as a child in Zora's River, and then you run up the river, and then you jump behind the waterfall, and it allows you to skip having Zelda's Lullaby.
Right.
That's a trick, but that's also a glitch, bro. Like that's not supposed to like. So what is the line here? That is actually known as a trick, but I would class that as a glitch because you're literally defeating the purpose of the first 2 dungeons plus going through Child Zelda and all that other rubbish.
Yeah.
So like there's a very, very fine line. My most favorite trick is tricks that people can't do. Because it gets wow factor from the chat. That's what I you know, whenever someone's like, what did you just do? I'm like, you know, it makes you feel a bit accomplished because, you know, I've put in the hours to try to learn all the different tricks and whatnot. So, you know, it feels good whenever someone's like, that's crazy what you just done. That makes me feel pretty good.
Of course, yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite. Like a personal favorite is Shadow Boat Key and Adult Jabu. 2 very, very difficult tricks. Shadow Boat Key is basically you go from Dead Hand's room and you skip the entire dungeon and end up in the boss room. So like you do the entire end of Shadow, but there's nothing loaded, so you're just in the void and you're just jumping across or like maneuvering across the platforms, pardon me, to the boss door and then skipping the boss door without anything being loaded. My least favorite trick is probably Wasteland Hess is one I'm learning. The reason it's my least favorite is probably because I don't know it yet. You know, if I haven't learned it, it's not a favorite. It's not something I know. So I guess at this current time of talking, I'm working on it. I was actually working on it today, actually, where essentially a Hess is a hyperextended super slide, and it allows you to move at the fastest momentum you can. As far as I'm aware in OOT, the fastest momentum you can backwards, and you can navigate by holding your controller within a certain degree, your control stick within a certain degree of, you know, your full spread. So I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it's 0 is neutral and 78, I think, or 74 is full in one direction, so negative 74 or positive 74. And if you hold it between 8 and I think it's 24, you get your character, like, his legs wiggle like this, but he doesn't move.
Oh.
And when that happens, you can hold that. So if you roll into a bomb and use the specific frame inputs, or a chew or anything like that, your character will launch backwards and wiggle his legs, but he'll move at a very fast pace. And you can control that that movement by moving your analog stick between, you know, down left and down right within the 8 and 24 angle of the control stick, and that allows you to, you know, move at that pace backwards. So basically you run around backwards, but you're moving incredibly quick. Let's think of BLJ. You know, you gain momentum from doing the BLJ in
Oh yeah.
in not Zelda, sorry, in Super Mario 64, but it's backwards. So you're doing it backwards in Zelda as well. Apparently Nintendo gives scope faster backwards. But that would be that one there is navigating the entire wasteland. So you know the Haunted Wasteland,
yeah,
where you know the sand and you go through the flags and then you follow the pole. Basically doing that backwards while moving at an incredibly fast pace. So it's like, you know, one mistake and you start again because you just avoid out.
Jeez.
So that's my most hated trick at the moment. But by the time you guys see this, I hopefully can do it.
Yeah, so it takes me like years to fucking edit things, so he'll probably master it by then. He'll probably have like a tutorial on YouTube for it too, so
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
So like that sounds like a hard trick. What's like the hardest trick that you've learned, or glitch, either one?
The hardest one I've learned, I would still say Shadow Boat Key probably.
Yeah.
There's multiple different ways to do it. Yeah, I like to minimalize my tricks, and what I mean by that is have the least amount of equipment to be able to do something, because then it's more accessible earlier into the game. So for instance, with the Shadow Boat Key, the first one I ever learned was you needed Master Sword, which I don't start with in OOT. You needed hover boots, you needed bomb shoes, and now I can do all that with just bomb shoes. So it cuts out, basically 2/3 of the needs for that trick.
Right.
So that trick is, as I say, if you look up the YouTube video, you'll see it. It's called Boat Key, BOATKEY, Shadow Boat Key. That trick is just fantastic. That's probably my favorite trick, as I say, and that one is the hardest one for a lot of people. A lot of people get scared. As I say, you're mainly in a deloaded area of the thing. Think about, like, if you just close your eyes and it's just black. That's literally what it is. You don't see anything except for your character in a void.
Huh.
So you just have to navigate with knowledge.
And, you know, that's kind of cool that you have all these tricks that and OOT is such like a special place in your heart, and you enjoy the game a lot. But can you see yourself ever wanting to kind of go off of OOT and like learning tricks in like, say, I don't know, a whole different game, like, I don't know, like Banjo, or just for example, just Banjo or like Smash Brothers or something like that?
I'm absolutely open to that. I am completely open to learning tricks and glitches and stuff. I find it way more enjoyable to be able to break a game within its boundaries. I don't really care to hack or to teleport or to walk through walls. I'd rather earn the ability to do that by like jump slashing at like a crooked corner or something that puts you through the wall and things like that. That feels more achievable, rather than having to use external programs to do that for you. But I am open. I am absolutely open to games that can be speed ran, glitched, and the main thing is randomized, so that the every playthrough is different. I know obviously DK64, as you mentioned earlier, has a big randomizer community. I've never really played that. I've actually never played a vanilla playthrough of that at all. But I'm sure if there was no logic in that there's probably a lot of fun tricks you can do with that. I think Banjo-Kazooie, I don't think I'd ever sort of dabble in the Banjo-Kazooie glitches or tricks. It's not super. I enjoyed the playthroughs I did when I was a kid of it, and I've just never went back to it. So I guess the answer to that one would be no. But as I say, I'm open to other games. I'm definitely open to other games. The Zelda franchise just has a place in my heart, and it always has had.
So you mentioned DK64. Are there any ones that come to mind right now that are like, I would try that? Like, could you see yourself like to your head right now? Like, you just said DK64, but any other ones you think you can think of, or?
I mean, I like a lot of Elden Ring. Elden Ring is sort of moving more towards modern day rather than 1990s. So I think for me, Elden Ring would be one that would be interested to sort of speedrun randomized. I do a lot of randomized bingo on Elden Ring. I'd be open to DK64. I would just have to find the time to be able to learn the vanilla game. I've never played the game. I can't randomize a game I've never played, right? Like, that's just silly. So I'd have to find, the time for that, the vanilla playthrough first. And then again, I guess it comes down to whether I would enjoy that, right? If I don't enjoy the playthrough, I'm not going to randomize it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If the game sucks, what's the point?
Yeah, if I don't enjoy it, like I said, go back to what I said earlier. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to stream it. So, like, I got to enjoy what I'm doing. For sure. So if I didn't enjoy it, no, probably not. But I would be open to DK. DK, as you say, has a fantastic community around it, and it seems to be very welcoming. With getting into the runs and stuff like that there, and how to randomize and things. Just so I definitely would not be against that idea.
Yeah. So we went through a lot of different things in the interview, from your achievements, which you've done, and your start of your career, everything that you've pretty much done from start to finish. And you have a really big community, like you mentioned. There's a lot of people that look up to you as a person, as a streamer, as a content creator. So obviously they'll be watching this interview and are always wondering, like, how did he do it? Like, does he have advice for me? Like, what would he say to me as somebody that might want to get into content creation, whether it's YouTube videos or streaming, whatever it is? What would you say that this is somebody that's watching the video that wants to know what your advice would be?
I've really only one thing to say, and I'm maybe a little bit biased on this: consistency. I didn't stream for a year straight and get lucky that I got 20, 30, 40 average viewers in the first year. That doesn't add up. I was incredibly consistent. I told people I was going to be there at this time. I was there at this time, right? Like, the numbers explain themselves. Again, the situation is different for everybody, but if you can, I'm not saying, please don't stream for a year straight, it's unhealthy. But if you can, guarantee Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday or something a week, you will eventually grow. Like, I say you can't go down followers, people will unfollow you. That happens. Bots might follow you and get banned or whatever, and your follower count might go down, but don't let it dishearten you. Right. Consistency. And actually, I'll add one extra onto that, that not a lot of people do, and I feel like everyone should really do this: stream with your numbers off. That's another thing. I don't stream with my numbers on. Not that it would bother me, because I'm very, very, very hard to sort of it would take a lot to make me sort of panic in a situation, especially whenever I'm in control of the situation. Like I said earlier, it's my channel. If I don't want someone being there, I can remove them. I'm in full control. I can turn off the stream at any time. turn your numbers off. If you're a streamer and you're worried about your numbers, just turn them off. Don't even look at them. And that's discipline to yourself that I feel like you really, really, really should learn to do. I've had it where people have rated me with like 80, 100, 200 people, and immediately I know I'm at like 210, 220, 240 viewers. And then if I was to look at my number and I see that drop to 80, I'm like, what have I done? Why did I lose 160 people? And I know it's a raid, so not like the conversion of a raid to, you know, people sticking around is always going. I always feel like if you can contain 10% of that, I think you've done well.
Yeah.
So if you get hit with 100, if you can keep 10 people around from that, that's good. That's really good. And I have seen numbers of where I like, because I look at my analytics a lot through Twitch, and where, you know, I've been hit with you know, a raid. I got hit with a raid very recently from Elmza, who is a female streamer from Australia, super great individual. She hit me with like a rate of, I think it was like 86 or something, and I had like 40 or 30 at the time, and I sat on like 60 for the entire rest of the stream basically. That to me, it says I done something right. You know, I'm not going to be able to, again, I'm not going to be able to retain that 80 people. That's just impossible. Plus, most of the people that watch her are Australians, pardon me.
Oh, so it's late at night,
you know,
probably.
She rates out at 1 a.m. She rates out at 1 a.m. to me, and I'm like, oh, guys, just stay up for another 6 hours and watch me. No, that's never going to happen. But if I can retain 10%, which is, you know, 8, let's say 9 people if you round it up, to stay watching, then I know I've got something good going. And, you know, I retained over that number. So, stream with your numbers off is the bottom line there, and then look at your analytics afterwards. And if you're not happy with your numbers, figure out why. Look into your numbers, figure out why. That's the big thing. Could you have done something more entertaining? Could you, or were you maybe just streaming on? Were you having an off day? Were you streaming something you weren't enjoying? How was your attitude? And don't always beat yourself up. Like, you know, days go by. I'm having a terrible day today. I told you this before the interview. My day today's been terrible. But I'm still looking on the bright side every single second I can. You know, that doesn't change. So always, don't worry. Live in the moment. Don't worry about the numbers.
It's always kind of funny because every streamer has like said something different. Like at least one little piece of advice that's different, and that's actually one that nobody has said. It was like stream without the numbers on, because that actually probably would help a lot of people. Because I think that people definitely do worry about the numbers too much. Because obviously, I feel like every streamer's goal is to get that purple check mark, and so obviously that's why people care about the numbers, because it's like you need to get the 75 viewer average, and then, you know, whatever the fuck the other ones are. So I see why people definitely do care a lot, but at the same time, like, if you just stream without it, then there's just no anxiety, and you can just kind of focus actually on the content rather than like the content halfway and then the analytics the other half, you know?
Yeah. Worry about the analytics 100% when you're done your stream, when you can look at them and investigate why X, Y, or Z did or did not work. Don't worry about it during the moment. There's no point. There's like, just run it up, have a good time, and then see what happens afterwards, for sure. Yeah, the numbers is a big thing. As you say, I had to catch myself on quite early with this, because the purple check mark is obviously the dream, right? That's the end, not the end goal. I'm gonna say that's the end goal for now, but it's actually the beginning goal. Like, I would like to get there, and then my streaming journey really starts, because then I know I've got something there that's really solidified in place. Yeah. You're not going to need to worry about your 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60 viewer average until you're hitting 75. When you start seeing 75, that's when you can maybe turn your numbers on and be like, okay, I need to see what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong at the time on the air while people are joining, to see if I can keep these numbers growing rather than disappearing. Because if you're going for a partner and your partner pushing, like having, you know, and you're sitting at 70 and then you make a terrible joke and you're on 50, you're not going to make that joke again.
Yeah, right.
So you know, you learn to adapt on the fly. So have your numbers on when you're around that, I think, is a good choice. But having them on when you're like 10 average, even less than 10 average, I think is a very big mental battle that you just have to overcome by just not looking and not caring. Because you're not going to get partnered with 10 viewer average.
Yeah, no way.
Stop worrying about it. You know what I mean? Stop worrying.
Because also they don't count raids. So, you know, if somebody raided you with like say like somebody like Maja and Phil like raided you like every day for like, you know, the entirety of January, your average will go up a lot, but it doesn't count, because Twitch doesn't count your average after you like get raids or whatever, you know, they take that shit really seriously with the raids. Like if you get raided,
of course,
because it makes sense, right? Because like getting raided is kind of like a lucky thing in a way. It's either
it is 100%.
Yeah, like, you know, like you got lucky because you got raided by like 1,000 people, so that shouldn't make you partner, you know. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
I agree.
But at the same time, like, it is interesting. So you're right though. Like if you're smaller, if you're like not even close to, you know, getting partner, like turn the numbers off, because, you know, seeing those dips is kind of like mentally taxing, but like also even seeing the spikes, because you actually think about yourself in a weird way and with that too, like, oh, I just got 5 new viewers. What am I doing that's right? And then you gotta kind of think about that too. Like, the more you're thinking about what you're doing right or wrong is gonna take away from whatever content you're doing. So,
Yes.
could be
Yes,
the positive or the negative. Like, it's not great. And like you said, just analyze it, because I'm pretty sure your analytics will show you, like, hour by hour how you've been doing, I think, right?
Even minute by minute. It goes right down to like 5-minute intervals. It's very, very good.
And you can probably match it up with the VOD too, right? Like, yeah.
It gives you the VOD right above it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
There's a player above it, and then right below it is the graph of, like, let's say 0 to 0, 0 to 5 minutes, 5 to 10, 10 to 15. You know, you can go average viewers, messages in chat, etc., etc. There's so much different analytics on there. It's fantastic. That's all built into Twitch as well.
Wow, I've actually never looked at that. All I do is I just click on overview, and I'm like, how am I doing? And I just like leave.
Yeah, if you go into the nitty gritty, you can see, like, there's even on there, there's the discovery page on your analytics page, which has your categories that you stream in and what time of day has the most average viewers and things like that.
I've seen that.
There's a lot on there. There's a lot on there that will, if you want to dig deep into the analytics and stream at the best times, you'll obviously want to always just stream whenever there's a lot of people on. That doesn't really work, I don't think, that doesn't work with big games like Fortnite. Like, your just discoverability on those types of things is very low. But also, at the same time, it doesn't really work too well on OOT, which is more of a it's a very niche game. And the reason I say it doesn't really work on there either is because the majority of the time when you're seeing people, you know, whenever you're seeing the category has an average of 2k viewers, ZFG has 1.8k of them.
Yeah.
And they're not going to, bro, who's going to leave ZFG to come watch a beginner do a glitchless logic seed?
Nah.
When he's busting, like, he's cutting shapes through walls. Like, you know, it's night and day difference whenever you're watching literally it's like watching any professional do their job, right? It's like watching an MMA fighter fight in MMA. It's like watching Tiger Woods play golf. I don't even know if he still plays golf. But,
I don't know.
It's like watching any football or soccer, as you guys call it, player play football. Like, it's like watching Ronaldo. You're not going to go watch Ronaldo and then go watch some kids game around the corner half hour later and expect, you know, it's going to be night and day difference. So, you know, you got to be careful. You got to be super careful.
Yeah.
On your time zones as well. So yeah, don't just see the numbers higher and be like, oh, I need to stream during this, because it doesn't work like that either.
Yeah, no, exactly. Also, you know, people, they admire different people, and, you know, people are like, oh, that's my streamer, you know? So, like, you just gotta, you know, like, people could be on, like you were saying, like, at certain times or whatever. It might not even be the skill level, though. You know, like, ZFG's a god. You could be even better than he will be, but they won't leave for you, like, because it's ZFG, right? So, like, people just kind of connect themselves to a streamer so much. So you guys kind of, like, think about, like, how you could make people into that situation too, like, where they're like, I just want to watch the OG Froman or BURTONTTV, you know, like, I want to watch this guy because he's great, he's funny, he's whatever the fuck, like, I don't know, whatever they are infatuated with you. So I think that that's always important, because, like, you always want to, like, set yourself out from other people as well, because there's, like, probably, I don't even know how many streamers, probably, like, in the millions of streamers.
Millions, probably tens of millions, so even.
Yeah, because
I would say.
Yeah, 7 billion people in the world, so yeah, probably tens of millions. So how are you different from any of them? You know, you gotta, like, figure that out. Like, what makes you different? What makes you fun, unique? So it's kind of like that big thing, you know.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah, it's all about setting yourself aside. Whatever way you decide to do that, you just have to figure out your own path.
Yeah,
for sure. I think for me, my pathway with that is, like, I have a lot of silly, interactive, fun stuff you can do on my stream. Like, you can send farts and whatever else you want to, you know, through Tanzia, Blurp, and, you know, a lot of guys enjoy that fun stuff. So a lot of the redeems and stuff on my channel comes from the community themselves. It's basically all of them, or the community themselves. It's all what they want to hear and see during the stream is what they get, because they were the ones that decided they wanted this. So
yeah,
1 month will be full of farts and whatever else, and then the next one will be full of just random videos, and I just let my streams community pave the way themselves. Let them decide what they want to see and let them activate on that.
Yeah, exactly. And like speaking of them, actually, coming back on the actual last question, you have this amazing community, so many different people, and they all appreciate you. You appreciate them. Is there anything you'd like to say to them right now? Anything at all? You can take this. You can take the floor with this one.
Well, I just appreciate everything that has came from this so far and will continue to come from it. You guys are the reason why I'm in a position I'm in. That it's nothing to do with me. Okay, well maybe there's a bit to do with me, but I'm not me without you, right? That doesn't I can't be somebody without somebody wanting to see me or wanting to watch me or wanting to do something with me, or So it's you guys, and from the bottom of my heart, the support, the level of love, dedication to the streams that everybody has. There's people who have got hundreds. There's even a few people with over 1,000 watch hours on my stream, and I've only been streaming for a year. That's crazy numbers, bro. That's crazy numbers. And again, it's just you guys. It's the viewers, man. It's the viewers. The viewers are the guys that make it happen. So, I guess the only thing I can say is thank you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Every single time that I get even a cent from a viewer, it makes my day that 10 times brighter, just because for some reason you guys feel like I deserve that, and I appreciate that so much. So viewing, lurking, subbing, dropping bits, any of that, as simple as that, even following, means the world. So I just want to say thank you to you guys.
Oh, that was awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, you guys, you really do have a really great community, very friendly and very just welcoming. Whenever somebody comes in for the first time, you just see people is like, hey, hello, that's really nice. I love your community a lot. I'm glad to be a part of it for the last year. It's fucking awesome. You're a great streamer, man, and I'm really glad to be interviewing you. I've enjoyed this, so hopefully you did too. Nothing too crazy,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah. No, not at all, not at all. It was good. Like I said, it's nice to sit down and just chat to you in general as well, because like I said, we obviously you're on this side of the world, I'm on this side. So not only do our schedules not really align, but you also have work, and then I do a lot of community-based stuff, as I've explained. So trying to even sit down and just game or to try and collab or do something, it is hard to get the time in. But I'm always glad to chat and catch up with people, especially the OG brother man.
Yes, I love that. That's the best nickname I've ever gotten in my entire life.
If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys follow Fro. All right, not me. Make sure you guys follow the brother man. He is the guy behind the camera here. He is the man. Make sure you guys follow him. I'm just another fish in the sea. Follow this man. Screw me. Go follow him. He's a good egg.
Well, follow Burton as well.
No, don't do that. Follow him, not me.
Follow both
not
of
me.
us.
No, not me. Him.
We're fighting like a married couple. We're like those two Muppet idiots, those old guys. You follow him too, though. All his links are going to be in the description below. His YouTube, also his Discord that he was talking about. A lot of fun over there as well. You get to learn about different, thing called Archipelago. They do that every other week, which is a multi-world, multi-game randomizer. You can play with a bunch of different people. Also, I'm going to link obviously his Twitch as well. I forgot to mention that one first. All his links will be down below. Give him a follow, give him a subscription. Great guy. You'll like his community a lot. And I'm so glad to have you on, man. Thank you so much for the interview. I had a good time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, man. And I will see you guys in the next episode. I don't know who's going to be next, so I'm not going to say, but see you around. And thanks for watching. Subscribe, and love ya. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Of course. See you guys.